Hi, friend. Thanks for tuning into the Jasmine Star Show, where we talk about life, business, and everything in between. Today's episode is a recording from a coaching session with a few members of Social Curator, my monthly membership site for business owners that gives them the tools to build their brand and market it on social media. This includes lifestyle photos, customizable caption templates, story sets, and a monthly action plan. And let's not forget the community that holds us accountable to our aspirations. Speaking of the community, these members are asking their questions. They're standout, brilliant minds, and I'm excited for you to hear their questions. So let's go ahead and listen to this session.
So excited to be here. So my name is Lena. I'm a speech pathologist, accent coach, course creator, blogger, and a podcast host. My podcast is called The Accented World, where I interview immigrants, first generation, and world citizens who are inspiring and successful, like you, Jasmine, with the hopes of inspiring the immigrant community to dream big and pursue their passions in life, career, and business, and to change the negative immigration narrative. So my question is, how do I prioritize what's important in my business without feeling like I'm pulled in 100 different directions every day?
Great question. I'm not going to pretend that I have a clean answer, but if you would allow me, I'm going to ask a few clarifying questions because then it'll help frame what it is that I think maybe would be the next steps to test. So first and foremost, it sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff. Now I take a step back and I'm like, I don't think Lena is doing all of this at one time. So my next question would be to get a little clarity. What are the 3 things that you do the most to grow your business? Because you're asking me like what would be like the next steps, like the strategy around that. So number 1, I want to know the 3 things that you do the most. And it could be I'm writing blog posts every week or I'm putting out my podcast every week. So what are the 3 things that you're doing the most? And then what are the 3 things that you believe or that you know are the lead revenue generators in your business? Because I am making the assumption that for you, when we talk about growth and strategy, it would point back to revenue. But if it's not, please feel free to add clarity.
So right now, my podcast and creating my course is my priority, and coaching. So I'm starting to coach as well because I still work full-time as a speech pathologist. So I'm hoping to get group coaching as part of my income, which is kind of going to be my priority. So podcast, group coaching, and creating my course, which I'm hoping to launch in January.
So those are the 3 things, if I'm hearing it correctly, that you are doing the most right now.
Yes.
Podcasting, course creating, and working on a framework for group coaching.
Yes.
And what are the 3 revenue generators? Like the largest, I didn't know that you were a full-time speech pathologist. So I'm going to assume that's probably your largest revenue generator. And then like what moves the needle in your business?
So the group coaching will be, right now I'm still starting out with the revenue. And so the plan is for the group coaching and the course. That's what I'm hoping.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. So do I understand that? Like, can you repeat your question now that I have full context? Can you repeat your question like I'm 5?
Yes. How do I prioritize what's important in my business without feeling like I'm pulled in 100 different directions every day?
Got it. Okay. So it sounds like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that your full-time job has a lot of your attention, as it should. It's bringing in consistency and regularity and security. Now, what I hear is that you're testing the waters with a few different revenue generators, specifically a course and group coaching. And you are also producing a podcast.
Yes.
Okay. That's a lot. So I just want you to take a deep breath and you say, how can I do all of this without feeling overwhelmed? And I do think it's super important for you to give yourself permission to say, this would be overwhelming for anybody. Okay. And so there isn't like a magic pill. I'm like, oh, Lena, you've been doing this wrong. You have a lot on your plate. And so just simple basic math is if you want to feel less overwhelmed, then you either take something off your plate or you don't work in the same frequency in which you're working. No, if you're saying, no, Jasmine, I need to do all these things in all these ways, great. But then we need to change the narrative around overwhelm, because I've said it before on the podcast and I've said it again, is that overwhelm is the abundance of everything we asked for. And I've said this on the podcast and I got a lot of heat from people. And they said, well, that's luxury. You get to say that, and that's a luxury. That you think that overwhelm is the abundance of everything we asked for. And I'm like, no, Lena asked for this. Lena asked for different revenue generators, potentially from group coaching. Lena asked to build out a course. Lena asked to build out her podcast and she's doing all the things. Guess what? It is the abundance of everything Lena had asked for. So then we have to make the decision is if then I choose this, then I must say, thank you for everything I have. And I need to take deep breaths and understand that I am attributing a timeline that I pulled out of thin air. I don't know, Alina, I'm putting myself in your shoes. What I do is I pull a timeline out of thin air. I need to launch my course by this date. Really? Where did we get that date? Oh, well, I need to launch 4 podcasts in a month. Really? Who made that? Well, so my group coaching, I need to have the framework done by December. I need to do this by January. I'm going to be launching in April and I'm going to have 15 people. Okay. But we just pulled it out of thin air. Mm-hmm. So if we then take a step back and saying, Jasmine, I am feeling overwhelmed. I'm doing all the things. The first question I ask is, how concrete is this timeline? Now I get the desired timeline, but then I think, what's the sane timeline? Like, what if we gave ourselves an extra 4 weeks or 6 weeks? Could we focus all of our attention on podcasting? So then Lena built out 8 to 16 episodes, let's just say, because when you're 100% focused on one project, you actually do it faster. It's actually called scientific management by Frederick Taylor. It's like a business principle. When you do one thing again and again and again, you get faster and more productive at it. So let's just say all of your attention goes to this and say, this is going to be my pipeline to lead people into the course and or group coaching. And instead of working on the course and group coaching simultaneously, it might behoove you to choose one and put all of your attention on that. Now, if you're saying, well, what do I focus on then? I like to think of it as a customer journey. For somebody who is interested in speech pathology, for somebody who needs help in this, do you think that they would go straight to group coaching first, or do you think the entry point would be the course?
Probably coaching, I would say.
Okay, great. Follow your gut. You are the entrepreneur. You know your audience the best. So if you think that the customer journey would first and foremost come to you for group coaching, then I would say put 100% of your effort in building out the curriculum, getting people to test that content, getting their feedback, and then refining it, and then coming up with a structure. And it's based on that structure, and it's based on their feedback that you then have a framework for a course to go deeper on particular topics that they find interesting. The tricky part of doing all the things is that we are putting all of our information and insight out and being like, here, guys, here it is. Now, it is right and it is good, but whether or not our dream customers can receive it that way is different. And the way that you become more confident in how they are receiving is first and foremost listening, building trust, and then creating content in a way that they receive it. So I don't know if this is quite the answer, but what I like to do is I like to take a big idea or big concepts and then chunk it out. What can I do now? What can I put 100% of my effort on right now? And then diversify.
I like that. That's great. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we're all about taking action on the inside of Social Curator, because what I just did is I just put out a New York City broken fire hydrant on a hot summer day. And I'm like, hey, Lena, take a sip. And you're like, okay, this is great. And what's going to happen, I'm guessing in about 11 to 12 minutes, you're going to get other questions. And then it's going to settle on you and you'll be like, but. So let's just take a breath and let's just let this settle and let this think. Is this actually something that Lena is okay with? Are you okay saying, I'm going to pause building out the other stuff until I build the pipeline? I would believe building out your pipeline with your podcast would be the best way, because then you can get audio clips and you could put them out on stories and you could share them on social. So you're creating anchor content that you can put on different platforms. So you get people talking about you and knowing you and trusting you. So I would 100% double down on that.
Okay.
If then you make that decision, what are you going to do in the next 30 days? I need something tangible because we got it recorded. I want to come back and be like, did you do the thing you set out to do in the 30 days? And I want something that pushes you, but I don't want something impossible. What do you think that is?
I think really focusing on my podcast and marketing it and trying to get it visible in places where I'm kind of nervous to put it out. Maybe contact some people in Facebook groups that might be interested in it and try and post it there if I'm allowed. Maybe focus on it and really build in my production the way I want it to be built.
Okay, so we're going to pause here and look at this as a learning lesson. So first and foremost, love the goal, smitten, obsessed, great, 100%. What I am still unsure of when you said maybe work on my podcast, I have no idea what that means. So what we're going to do is get specific. How many episodes of your podcast are you going to produce in the next 30 days?
4.
4. Perfect. And then when you talked about maybe I'll go into Facebook groups and maybe I'll ask people and maybe I'll get uncomfortable. How many Facebook groups is Lena going to go into in the next 30 days?
10.
10. Mm-hmm. Do you know the 10? You feel like 10 is like, okay, I can do a little search. I can find like those groups. So 10 is your number.
Yes. Probably perfect. Facebook and LinkedIn groups. I'll probably
Great. Perfect. Great. So we're just going to call them as groupings. So in the next 30 days, Lena's going to create 4 podcast episodes. She's going to go into 10 groups. And in those 10 groups, how many people are you going to reach out to or connect with to see if they might be interested in your podcast?
Maybe 10 people.
Great. So what I hear Lena saying, and I just want us to be cognizant, is that you are going to reach out to 100 people in the next 30 days who may or may not be interested in your podcast. Do I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's just do some math. And I was homeschooled and I'm not that great at it, but if there's 30 days in a month and you want to reach out to 100 people, you're essentially reaching out to 3 to 4 people per day. Do I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Is that possible given your workload?
It is.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, what we've just done is we've changed up. Maybe I'll do this and I can kind of sort of do that. And I'll do this too. We are creating 4 podcast episodes. You are going to be connecting in 10 groups with 10 people per day, equaling 100 people. Now, of the 100 people, because we're out here dreaming and making a concrete plan, how many would you say, wow, this was amazing that this person, now what do you want the people who you reach out to, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to listen? Do you want them to endorse it? Do you want them to be a guest? What do you want from reaching out?
Probably endorse it and share with their audience. Just because I have a lot of guests already set up, which I've been very blessed with people being very interested in coming on. So I don't really need guests. I'm actually overwhelmed with them.
Perfect. Well, see, again, abundant, overwhelm is the abundance of everything you ask for. You ask for guests and now you're like, I don't know what to do with all these. Amazing. So now we have a lot of clarity. In the next 30 days, you're going to be reaching out to 100 people that you've gone to specifically in groups. And your goal is to get them to listen and endorse it. Now we know there's no such thing as 100%. What would make you say, wow, that was amazing? What is a win? You reach out to 100 people and how many people share it when you say that was a really good month? How many people?
5 people.
Hell yeah. Dang, that's good. That's real good. Because if you were going to say 50%, I'd be like, okay, well, we're going to have to work really hard for that. 5% is we got this. We got this. So what we just broke down from a big, I'm overwhelmed, what do I do next, to, whoa, we got real granular. We have a 30-day plan for Lena to create a clear win. 5 people sharing and endorsing her podcast. There we go. Now, here's the thing, Lena. Once you've created that, you've created a system. If then that works, then Lena does not have to reinvent the wheel. It's just every month, 4. Reach out to 3 to 4 people a day. If I see the 5, great. Once you systematize that, now, next thing, let's build out some content for some coaching. What does that look like based on the podcast? Getting that feedback, but we're not going to go there yet. We're going to focus on just this now, build this system, and then scale that.
Yes. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
It sounds so different when you put it. It's doable. It's achievable. It's something that I can concretely see now in my mind. A lot of times it's just like your mind goes everywhere. You don't really know how to sit down and have a goal.
Of course. And I want to say thank you, because what we just did right now, this is called scalable coaching, is that even though people are listening and they're not speech pathologists, they identify themselves with, I want to do all these things. And I'm like, okay, let's peel it back. What are you actually doing? Like, let's get a 30-day plan. So I want to say thank you. How can people connect with you on social media?
Thank you. They can find me on Instagram at lena.levinsky. Same thing on Facebook at lena.levinsky, and LinkedIn as well. Lena.levinsky.
I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, doll.
Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a Pilates instructor and master trainer, and I help people move and feel better through Pilates. I'm offering live classes and also courses. My question is, I have a Facebook group that I've been using as a way to build value and also offer my services. However, I feel like I'm getting crickets when it comes to getting people to sign up for my paid classes or courses. What small change can I make today to turn them into clients?
I love this question. I'm not sure you're going to like my answer because we're just going to simply get into some math, Jessica. And if you don't know the answers, no problem. But this will probably turn into homework if we don't actually know it now. So let's just do some math. How many people are in your Facebook group?
I think I have a little over 100 now.
Great. Congratulations. That 3-digit, I always think like the 3-digit mark. When you go from 99 to 100, you're like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's just say there is about 100 people in the group. And that's actually great because this is some simple math. Now, how often are you posting what you would consider value or beneficial content inside of the group?
5 days a week. I try to do Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll throw like in some inspiration on Sunday evening.
I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. Okay. So on average, statistically, around 4% of people in a group are seeing content. So out of 100, 4 people are seeing a post. Now, let's just say that on each of the 5 days, 4 different people see the post. Now, that's not the case because if somebody had already engaged in the group, there's a higher likelihood of them seeing post in the future. But we're just going to say, let's just use simple math, that 4 new people are seeing a post the 5 times that you post it. That's 20 people out of 100 who actually saw your quote unquote free valuable marketing, correct?
Yes.
Let's just say that in a given month, 20 people see it in 1 week and 20 people see it in another week. Let's just say 40 people. How many people are you actually getting to sign up for any of your classes from the 100?
Like 2.
Okay. So I have to tell you, let's split the difference. You said 2 to 4. Let's split the difference to 3. Mm-hmm. Let's say that if you got 3 customers after 2 to 3, let's say even 2 to 3 weeks of content, you have a 7.5% conversion rate. We got 3 divided by the potential audience who saw it of 40. 7.5% conversion is freaking bananas. I would take that all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Because what happens is statistically, there's a 2% conversion across any sort of marketing endeavors. Now, obviously, that's like a standard metric. The fact that you are getting anything over, like if you got 2 clients in a month, I would be like, amazing, you're trending right on that. Now, if you're saying, okay, I got 4 in a month, whoa, amazing. So we have to not put so much pressure on a free group when it is producing so far beyond what normally is the case. So it's all we're doing just because we're shifting the energy. We're shifting the energy from lack and want. Why am I not getting people to sign up? To, whoa, I'm getting so much more than the average person. And I'm telling you that shift in energy, I know I sound super woo. I know I sound like I'm a girl from California. I believe in God. Let me just tell you, it is like when you make yourself open to receiving, you see more of the thing that you want. And when you focus on the thing that you don't have, you end up attracting and only seeing the stuff that you don't have. And somebody once told me that if you focus on what you don't have, you will never be happy and understanding what it would mean to, when you get the thing that you want, it's always going to be like, well, I don't have that. And so it's like, if we're not thankful for the thing we have now, we're not going to be thankful for what we get in the future. So simple energy shifting and change. Now that we're saying, okay, abundance, gratitude, you're actually killing the game. Clap yourself on the back, clap yourself up, go out and do some deep, what is it? Like the Windsor Pilates 100. Yeah. Okay. I'm totally dating myself with this right here. So once we've done that, then what I want Jessica to do is be like, okay, now let's put on our marketing hat. Say you got 7.5. What's it going to take to get 14? Let's see. You don't know until you try. So if you have 100 people, I want you to use the Social Curator caption template. We call it HIC, HIC, hook, insights, call to action. Now we give these caption templates as part of the membership, but what I want Jessica to do is, because you can go deep with this 100 people in your group, I want you to say, okay, let me just spend a little bit of time creating my own engagement template. So your hook could be like, how's your workouts going? And then you customize it. Jasmine. And then we go, that's the hook, right? Oh, I got something personalized, like a personal message on Facebook from Jessica. And then you're going to say, this past week on Monday, I posted this. On Tuesday, I did that. And on Sunday, here's like an inspirational. This is like your recap. But if you have any questions, let me know. I would love to give a 15-minute free diagnostic for your workout. That was the call to action. Let me know, 15-minute. Now, if you reach out to every single one of the 100 people, your conversion is going to be way over 7.5%. Now, remember, we didn't say the call to action wasn't download my course or sign up for a class. The call to action was a free consultation. Now, let's just say you reach out to 100 people, and let's say 2% of those people reach out to you. That's 2 people. That's on average. But I think Jessica can probably get a little bit more. Let's just say 4 people. Of the 4 people who say, I want the 15-minute, if you convert one of them, it was worth your time. Because it's probably not a one-time transaction. Your hottest customer is somebody who's already bought from you before. So you know that if you convert them on the front end, they know you're real, they know that you're genuine, you know that you gave them 15 minutes of your time, they become a raving fan.
Love it.
Okay. So in the next 30 days, what is your 30-day I'm going to take action plan?
I think just diving into the Social Curator and going through that, working out my template and staying on top of that every day for the next 30 days, and also making sure I'm, reaching out to at least 2 to 3 people a day within my group to, get through everyone.
I love that. Okay. That's the concrete action that I was 100% hoping for, that, every day for 30 days, you're reaching out to 3 people using the template that you created. And then you're going to come up with like the next business pressure point. You're like, wait a minute, I have people that want to schedule meetings with me. They need to find a time. So you're probably going to have to use like a calendar scheduling option. That's like a different door. So your business is growing and you weren't even cognizant of it yet. The growth is coming. You're just getting prepared for it right now. So what we saw was a shift in energy from lack and want to abundance and, oh, hey, you're killing the game. And then now marketing, you're reaching out to 3 people in your group every single day with a clear, warm, personalized call to action of what you want them to do. And then you're going to start booking sessions. And on the sessions, you're going to start, number 1, knowing what content people want to know more of, which is great because that's all feedback. And then number 2, if they book, that's a total win.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I'm so happy for you. So tell me, how can people find you and all of your amazing Pilates wonder online?
They can find me on Instagram at Jessica and Pilates, and Anna's ANN. So Jessica and Pilates. And you can find me on YouTube at that as well.
Good for you. I love it. I can't wait to check out your stuff. Thank you, Doll. I appreciate you being on the inside.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Natalie Obando. I'm an online fitness coach, owner of Handcrafted Headbands, and a podcaster. I help busy babes make themselves a priority, make time for health and fitness, and help them gain confidence through my fitness programs and live Zoom workouts.
I love it. I'm happy you're here. So what's your question?
My question is, how do I get organized and create like a daily work schedule? Because, I've gone full-time in my businesses and I just get stuck with this giant to-do list, and I'll tackle each and every to-do, but I don't have like systems where I have, okay, on Monday I'm going to do this, on Tuesday I'm going to do this. I wish there has to be a more efficient way to tackle that to-do list. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And without knowing what that exact to-do list is, I'm probably going to have a little bit of difficulty saying like, this is how it should be frameworked. What do you think that you spend most of your time doing each day?
Probably planning content and, the pictures and the captions and the IGTV and the live and the reels. Loving this month's reels issue. So that has been super helpful. But, I'm finding myself spending a lot of time on Instagram. And when I go to post my content, I'm like scrambling everywhere for the content, but also trying to show up fully for all of my clients.
Ooh, okay. That struggle is real. So first and foremost, when it comes to creating systems, now, Natalie, very similar to you, I ran all aspects of all my business for like more than a decade on my own. JD, my husband, it was my business partner, but he was doing like finances and he had a separate job at the time too. So I understand the struggle of being pulled in so many different directions. Now, the only thing that I can do, and if you're not familiar with the Pomodoro method, I definitely suggest that you check it out. The Cliff Notes version is 90 minutes of work and then like taking like a 20-minute break. What I have realized is the more I created a schedule in my day, the more time that I actually had to create. What I wasn't being fully aware of is that just because I was on a social media platform doesn't mean that I was necessarily being strategic with that time. And I know that a lot of times business owners, it sounds so annoying. I hate it too. I hate the fact that I have to schedule time for certain things on social media, but it has been a total game changer. So my brain only works in what is the thing that I am struggling with. And what I hear Natalie saying is I'm doing all the things in all the ways. So then what I do is I take that problem and then I divide it into 4 main chunks. And I don't know what your chunks are, but I'm going to walk you through my chunks and then we could talk about you identifying yours. My 4 chunks are number 1, making sure admin, that right now I have the blessed opportunity to work with a team. My number 1 priority every single morning is to make sure that administrative tasks, that people aren't dependent on me. Then secondly, I go through my personal tasks like emails, checking in on communication with the team. I mean, anything from a doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, anything from a podcast recording. I then look at what are the things that I have to do today. And then I prioritize my tasks according to priority. Because I know I want to do a billion things today, but some are more important than others. So once I go through and I make sure that the team is not dependent on me, that was chunk number 1. Then I go into my chunk. I then all of a sudden just break down what do I need to do and what is the priority. Once I know those priorities, the third thing I do is I create a daily timeline. It's annoying. It's so annoying. And the thing that I did not give myself grace for, and it took me 2 years for me to realize, I'm going to share this with you, Natalie, is that I was saying I could get all that stuff done in a standard, well, I wouldn't even say an 8-hour day. I'm 10-hour day. I'm like, I can get that done in a 10-hour day. And then all of a sudden I started seeing patterns that I was wildly underestimating how long it would take for me to write a script for a video. I'm like, I can get it in 20. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, it took me 40. Oh, it actually took me 40. It actually took me 40. The more that I actually started tracking my schedule, I'm like, oh yeah, Jasmine, even if you stayed up 24 hours, you couldn't finish everything on your timeline because you were underestimating how long each of these projects would take. So step number 1, making sure that administrative tasks that are dependent on me are taken care of. Step number 2 is I'm organizing my tasks and then I'm creating a daily timeline. And then once I create the daily timeline, I go and do something that like it took me way too long to do. And I put in buckets of 20 minutes just randomly throughout the day. Because I know that life is never predictable and something that you don't expect to happen is going to come up and you're like, now my whole schedule's thrown off. Now I can't do anything. And then you feel angry and you feel stressed. I put in at least 2 pockets of 20 minutes somewhere in the day. And if for some reason my day is perfect and it goes off with a hitch, I get all of a sudden 20 minutes and I'm like, what am I going to do with this decadence? Like I can hang out with the baby. I can, read a book. I can go and surf Instagram for pleasure. But those 3 things have become such a game changer. And then also it just helps you calibrate. Like, what is humanly possible, Natalie? And if it is not humanly possible, then maybe it's time for you to check in and getting like an administrative assistant for 1 or 2 hours a day. There are a ton of people who will love to take on 1 to 2 hours of administrative work for anywhere from like $12 to $14. And if you ask yourself, I would gladly pay somebody $24 a day to help me get organized. There's a ton of people who would take that job. You're amazing. People want to be part of like groundbreaking early business, help you and then grow with you. Like it would be worth your time then if you're saying it is just not humanly possible for me to do this, then yeah, investing in somebody 1 to 2 hours a day might be worth your time.
Wow. I resonated so hard, especially with like the underestimating of what of the time that things take me. Like I sat down to make a reel the other day. I was there for like 2 hours. I thought it'd be done in 20.
Right.
in 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like 100%. Now, I mean, we're having these conversations and like Reels and even TikTok, like it's still so new and it's not so native to us. So ton of grace. Like I work with a team and I'm like, okay, this one's going to take me 20. Like when we talk about Reels, like I like to batch Reels because then you get everything set up and it's like, this one's going to take me 20 and this one's going to take me 30. And then like, you're like, this took me an hour. Like we have just no concept quite yet of how long it takes. And then there's other times I'm like, this will take me 20 minutes and then it takes me 8. So right now keeping track has become a game changer. So I know it's annoying, but like you get so much more productive when you get like a real timeline.
Right. And can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
Do you have like content days?
Yes.
That you plan into your
Yes.
How does that look like for you?
So just actually rather recently on Instagram, I had posted a video, like how I just said, I spend 80% of my time planning to execute on 20% of the things that people actually see. Way more planning. Like people can consume a 2-minute IGTV that literally took an hour and 20 minutes to create. And it's like, it could gut you or it could inspire you. I choose the latter. But as far as frameworking goes, I will try to my best, work and create anywhere from like 4 to 6 reels at a time. And then if I can bang out like an IGTV during that time. So IGTV it usually runs me around 2 to 4 minutes. Those take much longer to produce than a reel, but it is a full like 9:30 to 5 o'clock day of video after video after video after video. Did that help? I'm not sure. I felt like I didn't end it with a period. I was going to say something else. And I was like, is that helpful? Or I mean, we can get granular, like ask away.
Yeah, no, it's totally helpful. I feel like if I had a set schedule, like our Monday, that's going to be my content day. That's going to be the day where we make 4 reels, exactly like you said. And then Tuesday will be the emails, the DMs, the checking in with people and making sure my clients are fulfilled and everything like that. So yeah, that totally helped. Thank you.
Okay. And then just to be 100% transparent, like that's what I absolutely aspire to do and be. I absolutely aspire to have something like a full day uninterrupted of like, like we plan for it. But even on those days, Natalie, like when I'm like, it's a full content day, it is 100%. I'm waking up extra early, making sure, what am I doing again? The team has what they need to go move forward. And then are there emails that have to go out on that content day? Are there plans that need to be negotiated? Are like that stuff has to get done before I get into the content. So understanding that when you have a full content day, you're still chunking out what the timeline looks like.
Yeah. I guess that's the real reality of being a business owner.
Oh, 100. It is unsexy. It is unglamorous. And it is so worth it. Because when you say, like at the end, we normally batch content. Our content days are Fridays. When we end a really long day, you're just like, I left it all out on the court. I showed up and oftentimes like I'll take a break and be like, wow, I get to create content for a living. If I can't be thankful, if I can't express gratitude, if I can't look out, like right now, at the time of this recording, JD and I are in an apartment because we're getting our house renovated. And so oftentimes I'm recording and I can look out in the window and I see people on Fridays at a pool. And everybody is at a pool and they're barbecuing. And this is like normal life in California. Like when everybody's working from home, they're technically quote unquote working by the pool, if you know what I'm saying. And I look out the window and half of me is like, why am I not by a pool right now? And the other half of me is like, I'm living the dang life. I planned for this content day. I planned to create and show up for other people. And I plan to serve people in a way that makes me empowered to live my dream life. When you plan, you get to say that and say, what a good day. What a good day to create. What a good day to be a business owner.
Amen.
Natalie, how can people find you in your fitness, headbands, awesomeness online?
Yeah. So my personal Instagram at Natalie Obando. It's all my fitness stuff. My headbands, it's a little small business that is at Handcrafted Headbands. And my podcast is the Sips of Strength podcast.
I love it. Natalie, thank you so much for being here. I really like your brain. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amy Guild, and my husband and I own Guild Canvas Company. So we create hand-painted canvases for photographers.
Obsessed with this. I can't. Like, I'm going to love this conversation. I know it. Amy, how can I serve you well?
Okay, so here's where we're at. We currently have 5 full-time employees. And I feel like I'm at the max of the clients that I can get just through like free marketing and being really involved online, word of mouth. So we have a lot of great clients, but I'm kind of at the point where we need to hire somebody else or a few more people to help with production. But I also need then more clients to come in the door to, for the revenue for that. So my main question is, where are our marketing dollars best spent to bring in new clients? Because we need to get out there and bring some more people in.
I think what I heard is that as of right now, everything has been organic marketing. Did I hear that correctly? Or have you done any paid marketing whatsoever?
No, not really.
Okay, great. Well, I mean, there's 100% upside here. I'm like, my advice is definitely going to work because you have nothing to compare it to. So there you go. So as far as paid advertising goes, I'm going to mention a couple things, and then I'm going to ask you to listen to your entrepreneur intuition, AKA your gut, your guiding light. And so I'm going to walk through 3 options because then we can dive deep into what resonates with you first and then build out a marketing strategy from there. Number 1, having a photographer create reels using your product that you can use as an ad. Number 2, you sending product on a loan basis to photographers to create content for you that you then would be able to promote on their account and or yours.
Okay.
Number 3, you go headfirst in collaborating with other local florists, dressmakers, photographers, and you styling and producing those shoots so that you then have your own marketing collateral. Anything along that resonate with you that you think or your target market?
Number 2, we're kind of already doing because we have like a referral program for photographers. So when they are taking photos and videos with their canvases, we then collect that and then reuse it, repurpose it. So we're kind of already doing that. Number 1, I think, is what resonates with me the most. I'm making reels, but I've never made one. And I am a photographer too. So I have the ability to make those things, but I just don't know where to start with reels, how to make an ad. I'm like brand new.
Okay. I'm like obsessed. Like my mind is going like a million miles an hour. So if Reels is resonating with you, I would 100% double down on it. But what I would do is like, I would Hunger Games the trash out of it because you're saying I'm a photographer and I can do that. Okay. But like, we don't know if you're Katniss Everdeen yet. What I need you to do is to reach out to other people and say, can you make us a reel? Because when photographers, like a lot of photographers, I think are killing the game. I think that photographers, videographers, graphic designers, they especially get the Instagram reel game. That's so visual and it's so storytelling in a very short narrative time frame. I think they're killing it. So if you were to go to your most loyal customers, your endorsers, and you were to say, hey, we're going to have a guild competition, create a reel using your background for number 1, a chance to get featured. They're basically creating content for you. Number 2, win a background or something. They have to win something and or they also get a consultation with this person or they get a gift card or something. So basically what you're doing is you're incentivizing them to create content. Obviously they're going to use it for themselves and then they're going to give it to y'all. So you're going to create like a G Drive or Dropbox and they're going to upload them with their name and their Instagram handle so that when you want to go through and start posting their reels on your account, you can mention them, which they're going to be like, I got featured. This is amazing. And what happens is that the number of views determines the winner. Now, what I would do is to make it very clear on the front end. Let's just say you reach out to let's say for math's sake, 10 people, 10 of your best endorsers. Like you say, this is what we're going to do. 10 of them agree. And then you say, we are going to feature a reel Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until we get through these. And we are going to measure the engagement for 14 days. After each reel is posted, because you want to make sure that you're measuring the same amount of time frame in between each reel, because obviously the first reel who got posted, if you're measuring all at the same time, the first reel has the advantage. So you're going to measure what that is. And then you're going to keep it like it's a contest. You're going to tell them, oh, Janine got 15,000 views. Jonathan is at her heels with 13. Jonathan, do you want to share it? Do you want to point people to it? You want to keep them going. And what you've essentially done is had people create content for you. tapping into their audiences. And then once you determine which of the reel did the best, you now have data and analytics that you can get that reel and turn it into an ad. So if you do not have a business account, or I should ask, do you have a business account on Instagram?
Yes.
Great. Then it's much more streamlined on what you could do. You can either boost that. For a newbie, it's okay to test, but I'm a big fan of not boosting. I'm a big fan of like actually having a strategy behind the ad. And guess what? Reels are so effective. They show people exactly what to do. It's streamlined. I'm actually thinking about having an ads conversation on the inside of Social Curator, bringing in a guest to walk you through preliminary ad making specifically on Instagram. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But also in our group, in the Get Unstuck thread, you could post, I'm looking for an ad strategist. This is my budget. You would be amazed at how many people would connect with that. And also the Social Curator directory, where you can find somebody who does ad management. But I think preliminarily, you can get it off the ground. You're sourcing content. You're giving people a clear way to win. You are going to be giving them a shout out and featured. And of the winner, you get to then turn that into an ad.
That sounds great. So you would really, if I have like a marketing budget, you would really recommend just me putting it towards Reels, not like Facebook ads or other things like that?
Over time, sure, but you have a blank canvas right now. What is over-indexed at the time of this recording, what's over-indexed in the Instagram algorithm is Reels. And the beauty about what it is you do is that your product is so visual driven that people don't even have to speak. Like imagine having like a time lapse where somebody is just putting like styling like a vase on a desk and they have it and they move it and the photographer is just like shooting and they're pointing to beautiful background, amazing light, gorgeous photo, and then they end with the photo. And it's just like they tag the background. It's so intuitive to understand what it is that your product does. And I'm like, it's so clear. Don't waste this opportunity because Facebook will always be there in the traditional marketing way. Reels is so new. It's an untapped market. Right now, I'm running ads to Reels just for brand awareness. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for conversion. It's just to become familiar with what Social Curator is. Same way that I would love for you. A win is just for people to become familiar with your backdrops.
Okay. Great.
Amy, thank you so much. How can people find you and your amazing backdrops and the potential contests you're going to be running in the future?
Thank you. We are going to, or you can find us at Guild Canvas on Instagram or Facebook.
I love it. Amy, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
Y'all, I love these coaching sessions with Social Curator members. They come to the table ready to play. Okay. Actually, they don't come to play. They come to work. Yes. If you are ready to work, well, then I would love for you to learn more about the business owners featured in this episode. So you could check out the show notes linked in this episode description from wherever you're tuning in from today. And one more thing. If you're loving the Jasmine Star Show and you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss a single episode. You know, when you subscribe, we're basically BFFs in audio land. We are, like legit. So subscribe, let's be BFFs, and then you can have a great week. And then I'll be tuning in to your Alexa speakers, earbuds, your car radio, or however you listen to the podcast. Friend, have a great day.